This is the Poco M7 Pro 5G. It promises flagship level cameras for an entry level price. But we've heard that story before, right? How does this camera truly hold up in the real world, or is it just great on paper? Well, I decided to find out. For the next 7 days while I'm sunning it up in the beautiful Cheddar Gorge, I'm going to be using the M7 Pro 5G as my main device for everything from life, work and social media. And I'm going to be pushing this phone to its absolute limits. We'll be doing that through taking portrait shots, as well as shooting 1080p video with its inbuilt stabilization, and even shooting some night shots, which might actually surprise you. First things first, let's see how it handles the most common picture of all, a nice big scenic landscape shot. Almost any phone can take a decent picture, but a great one captures detail, texture and is color accurate. Let's see how it does. And honestly, that's not bad at all. The colours look natural, not overly saturated, which is a big plus for me. But let's pixel peep. Yeah, when you're getting close, you can see it holds a decent amount of detail, particularly in the trees and the stone. It's not flagship sharp, but for social media and your Instagram posts, it's more than enough.
It's a similar story here too, with the grass, trees and scenic views of Brean Downs. You can see for miles with a great amount of colour, saturation and detail in the shots. I personally see little difference between a standard image and a 50 megapixel image. Both are incredibly impressive for the M7 Pro's mid-range price.
But we don't just take pictures of gorgeous environments, we also take pictures of gorgeous people, and that is where I've enlisted the help of my wonderful wife and little boy as we take the M7 Pro out on a professional photo shoot. A good portrait mode shot can change a photo from something that looks okay to absolutely Instagram worthy. Okay, first impressions are pretty good. The background has a nice soft blur and it's correctly identified his face. The real test though is the edge detection. And this is where you can see the price tag a little bit. It's done a decent job, but around the hair it all looks a little bit too fuzzy. It's not a deal breaker, but it is a clear difference between this and a phone that costs 3 times as much. For your Instagram feed, no one will ever notice. It's time to test the video. We are shooting at 1080p 30 FPS, which is the highest that this camera will go. We are obviously shooting handheld with that image stabilization in place. All of the audio that you're hearing is coming directly out of the camera as well, which I think it sounds pretty good, but why don't you let me know in the comment section down below. The thing that we're interested in here is both image quality and that stabilization. So let's take a walk along Cheddar Gorge. It's important to note here that I am trying to keep the camera as steady as possible, but at the same time, the image stabilization is surprisingly effective. And this is a video coming from that selfie camera, still again 1080p at 30 FPS. Honestly, it's not terrible. We're still getting a lot of over saturation and over brightness in the image. This is something that we can change by tapping and sort of adjusting ourselves, but I do kind of wish it would just work out of the box. Here we are, just walking through Weston-super-Mare. Again, I've not really got any kind of stabilization other than the inbuilt camera stabilization, which is doing a pretty incredible job, I've got to say. It almost looks like I'm not moving at all. If we have a look behind us, we can also see one of the old hotels. Overall, I think I'm pretty impressed with the video quality. Normally with these kinds of devices at this price range, you're just getting a lot of blur and no real stabilization. It almost feels like too much stabilization here. There's a little bit of a delay when you turn and the camera catching up. It doesn't show in the video, of course, but it does make it a little more difficult to actually capture video. And now for the moment of truth, low light performance. This is where these kinds of phones live or die. When the sun goes down, that's where things get tricky. So this is a standard shot, no special modes, and it's exactly what you'd expect. It's dark, it's grainy, and it's pretty unusable. But what happens when you turn on night mode? Okay, this is genuinely quite impressive for the price. It brightens everything up, brings back a ton of colour from the arcade lights, and manages that noise really well. This is probably the biggest, most pleasant surprise of the week. This is actually really usable night mode. But a phone camera isn't just for great landscapes and great people. It's for those everyday snaps, those quick pick up and go shots. And that is where this montage comes in, taking a look at some of the best and worst shots that I captured with the M7 Pro. So after spending the last 7 days with the Poco M7 Pro 5G as my main camera, how does it hold up? Let's go back to that original question. Is it a flagship experience from a fraction of the price? Absolutely not. The video stabilization is slow and really kind of laggy, especially when you're using it. The edge detection in portrait mode can be a little funny at times, especially when the lights go down. But honestly, I think it's the wrong question to ask. We are trying to pit this phone against something that is 3, maybe even 4 times its price. The correct question to ask is this phone a good value for money when it comes to its camera? And the answer is an overwhelming yes. On the plus side, the daylight photos are detailed and have a great natural colour. The HDR performance is strong, and that night mode is genuinely fantastic, turning usable shots into great memories. On the downside, you really only have the one camera here, and video stabilization is just okay, and that portrait mode does struggle a little bit. So here's my final few words. If you're a videographer or a budding photographer, this probably isn't the phone for you. You might want to look at something a little higher end, perhaps the Pixel range. But if you're just looking for a phone camera that's going to be perfect for your Instagram and social media feeds, this one may be the phone for you. So why don't you guys let me know what you think of the M7 Pro 5G and its photo and video performance in the comments section down below. And of course, while you're down there as well, why don't you get subscribed and let me know the other kinds of phones that you want to see. Do you want to start seeing a little more of the Poco range, perhaps some of the Xiaomi, or maybe even some rugged phones? Anyway guys, my name has been Robert and I will catch you in the next one. Adios.